What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is episode 129 with John Reed, your host. This is the School of S.H.R.E.D. This is the show that's designed to help you shred your old and make better your new. Welcome to Monday, another amazing day. We're going to be talking about hitting goals. And when you hit your goals, then what do you do? What do you do when you actually hit your goals? So a lot of this show, we talk about how to reach those goals, how to set them. We use our SMART goal-setting principles. We talk about how-tos here, mind, body, and spirit, how to set up a good plan, whether that's an exercise program or a diet plan. But we have not talked about, in 129 episodes, what do you do after you hit your goal? Which I think is an interesting topic because this is something that I struggled with when I first hit my fitness goals because I didn't really realize I had hit them. And what happens is I lost the result temporarily until I kind of had to figure this stuff out. And this happened a couple of years back, several years ago. And so I was thinking about this and how I can add value to your day and your plan. And I wanted to talk about this today. So today's episode is named, You Hit Your Goal, What Now? All right. That's what we're going to name this one. This is episode 129. The show is here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and the audio is on Spotify and iTunes. Just search The School of S.H.R.E.D. and you will be able to pull those guys up. You can take the school on the go with you wherever you're at in this world. Other than that, if you want to learn more about the School of S.H.R.E.D. Online Health Academy and join for your first 90 days of health education, go to www.theschoolofshred.com. And that is it. We are off and rolling with episode 129. Let's do this. So you hit your goal. What now? What now? It's weird when you hit your goal because so much time is put into trying to get to the goal that you might have. So if you wrote your goal down, say you want to lose 20 pounds, you want to lose 10 pounds, or you want to gain 10 pounds of muscle, whatever that is, you want more energy, you want to feel healthier. You hit your goal. Now, a lot of the setup goes into just getting to that. But what I've found that happens and with myself, and then with myself, I went through it, and then I started to notice it with my clients, is that when we kind of hit a goal, a lot of times it's touch and go because we don't have a plan, a post-goal plan. And so I want to give you, I got 4 tips here today that we're going to get into on what you can look at and explore after you hit your goal so you can keep the result that you've got. Because you're in more danger than ever after you hit a goal of kind of losing yourself and not knowing how to maintain and what to do from there. Because a lot of the mental bandwidth that happens along the way to your goal is the motivation comes from the search, from the process, which is cliche in itself, but it's the truth, which is, that pursuit is really the journey of it is really what the motivating piece is. And so that's why you never really want an end, but you want to kind of change the targets. And so we'll talk about how you can change those targets to be maybe less stressful, maybe less of an effort. And then maybe you can zigzag into other things in your life that you want to develop. Because eventually what happens is your health and having good health becomes second nature, really does. It becomes second nature. You don't have to try as hard. You're just kind of doing it. You are caught in positive habit. We all know what negative habits look like. I'm sure most of us do. I'm sure you do. I know I do. I know what negative habits look like. But then positive habits are what happen when we do this thing long enough and we don't realize how healthy we're eating. We don't realize how good we're sleeping. We don't even realize that we work out most days out of the week and we don't even think about it anymore. It becomes automatic. It becomes a positive form of hypnotic rhythm. So the first thing that we want to ask some questions, right? Because the quality of the questions that you ask in life are the quality of the answers that you get, and the quality of the results that you get a lot of times. So the first main question after you hit your goal is this program sustainable? So if you get to your goal, when you get to your goal, it's only a matter of time, because if you set a target in your mind and you work towards it, you will get it. And that's something that you should stop and think about right now. This is what one of the most powerful things that all my favorite books talk about, is that the secret of the world is thinking and thought. And if you can think it up and you don't give up on it, you will get it. You will get it. Most people, they stop short of the goal. So after you hit your goal, you want to ask yourself, is it sustainable? So is this program sustainable? This exercise plan, this diet plan, the things that you have done to get to this point, is it sustainable in a year, 5 years? Is it sustainable 10 years, a lifetime? And the reason that that's a good, very important question to ask is because that's going to help you modulate maybe where you need to be going. Now, some plans are aggressive. So if you're really trying to lose a lot of weight, or if you have some extracurricular reason for getting lean, say you're doing like a bodybuilding show or something like that, that's a different type of a program. But typically what we're talking about here is just living a nice, lean, healthy lifestyle and being in shape. And so, there's definitely sacrifices that are supposed to happen, that have to happen, that can become automatic. Things like prepping your food every week, staying, one step ahead of the game, staying prepared at all times. That's all sustainable. It might be hard in the beginning, but it's sustainable. But what's not sustainable is maybe eating very little, a very small meal a day or a couple meals a day, where you're doing this crash dieting and then you're exercising twice a day and you're trying to juggle business and you got kids, and you might be able to do that for 12 weeks. If you talk to your significant other, your partner, or you set out a plan, if you're single, to do this thing. But long term, if you're realistic with yourself, that might not be the best, most sustainable plan long term. So ask that question when you hit your goal. Is this sustainable? Hopefully it is, and then you can move on. And then the next question to ask is, do you enjoy this lifestyle? If this lifestyle is not adding value to your life and making your life better, then you should reconsider what you're doing and maybe make some tweaks, because it might not be as healthy as you think it is if you're not enjoying it to some extent. Now, getting the ball rolling with health is hard. It's tough. Adopting a new lifestyle, it took me many years to do it to where it became automatic. But then when it becomes automatic, every day I think about how thankful I am that I started pursuing this and how fitness and health saved my life. So there's not a day where I go, I don't enjoy this lifestyle. I don't enjoy going for a walk this morning. I don't enjoy training. I don't enjoy, for me, I don't enjoy, training clients. It's that never goes through my mind. And so that's how I know that this is a good, sustainable, enjoyable lifestyle. But ask yourself, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it? Now, if you don't enjoy exercise, that's fine. Sometimes we have to do things we don't enjoy all the time. But I'm saying as a whole, if your overall lifestyle between your recovery efforts, your mental health, your spiritual health, your diet, your exercise plan, if all of that is just not enjoyable, you need to go to the drawing board and figure something out that's going to be a little bit, add a little bit more value to your life, which is my opinion, but that's what I think as a coach. I've helped a lot of people hit their goals, and I think that you need to enjoy your lifestyle for sure. So let's get into the tips here. So the first thing that you should do, or that you might want to explore, you don't have to do any of these. These are just ideas. When you hit your goals, explore other areas of health. So this is a big one for me. So when I got to my physical goal, I started looking more at how could I get mentally healthy or spiritually healthy. And what happened is the lines between health, between the mental health, the spiritual health, physical health, they started to dissipate, which is kind of cool, because up until I hit my physical goal of, looking a certain way, getting my body a certain way, it was really only about that. I was like, that's health. But then you get to that point and it's like, well, what can I add in? My mental and my spiritual health. And so I started meditating. You have meditation is one form of mental health or spiritual health. It could be either or. Pursuing hobbies is a form of mental health. Stuff like that, where you start to realize that health, holistic health, it's all encompassing, or health creates holistic health. And holistic health is all the way through, right? It's all encompassing. And so I think of playing guitar as healthy now. I think that's healthy for me, in the right dosages, the right amounts. And so I don't really separate that anymore. And so if I have a goal to do something new, if I want to read a book a week, I think that's mentally healthy or spiritually healthy. And so now I kind of judge everything in my life as a pursuit of health. I think that's really interesting because what you're doing when you do that, when you cascade health out, is it's becoming more all encompassing of your whole life. And you can stop focusing so much on maybe just like the diet and exercise that got you to lose the weight. And so explore other areas of health. So good visual diet, good auditory diet, right? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Your diet's not just what you eat. We've talked about that before. The spirit training module at the School of S.H.R.E.D Online Health Academy, that's what we talk about and give assignments on. That's a very, very big one. I think is often not talked about enough. It's really important. The second thing is improve the little things at a time. So make little goals going forward. So if you hit your big goal, you lost 30 pounds, now what? Make little goals. So start making little goals that just kind of keep you on the path, right? So tiny little things. Like one of the things that I did over the last 6 months was I started doing a post-meal drink with apple cider vinegar and turmeric and ground cinnamon. I've done this before, but I started doing it regularly after my meals. And I started testing my blood sugar to see what it was doing. Seems to have a favorable effect. And so just little stuff like that, little things, just always trying to do something and like learn something new, add something on, like a little health spike. But it's definitely not changing the big blocks because those have already been changed out. They've already been changed out. So you can look at, maybe sleeping an extra hour. Maybe you're trying to abide by a sleep schedule. So go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. It's not really that big of a target, but it's something small that keeps you focused on your health. You can rotate your foods more frequently. That's a great one to do. I know over the last 3 years, one of my main priorities has been trying out different vegetables each time I'm going to the supermarket and trying to rotate those guys. That was one small goal I had. I remember when I was doing jiu-jitsu competitions a couple years back. That was one of the main things I was doing. It had nothing to do with trying to lose weight or any of that. It was just trying to nourish my body more. And you can do that with little tiny things, little tweaks. Or you could try and meditate regularly. So you set a target for 3 times a week. You're going to meditate for 10 minutes. Something small, not a very big goal to have, but it's something that is going to help you continue to pursue life after you've hit the big goal that you have. Number 3 is prepare for cycles of change. So it might help you to have 2 different programs for yourself. So maybe one intense program that maybe got you to your goal, and then maybe another program that's might happen at certain times of the year where you maybe aren't as motivated. And some might not like this. Some people out there that want to go beast mode all the time. But the reality is your body's going to need a break sometimes, and you're going to get burnt out. And there's going to be times where life gets in the way. Maybe you have another hobby that you want to pursue. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's family. Maybe something tragic happens, and you're just not motivated to work out and to eat right. So you should have some like beginner type principles or some scaled down principles that you can follow during those times. I know for me, I can be motivated for 6 months, and then sometimes I got to take 3 or 4 months where I kind of kick back off. And that is, again, something I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And so you might, be extra lean for a long period of time, be able to work out a lot. You'd be really motivated. Working out feels very good. So maybe you're doing once or twice a day sometimes. But then you're going to have certain times of the year where maybe you work out twice a week and you're just trying to maintain, and you're just trying to not indulge in stuff that's going to have you gaining weight. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having that gas pedal down and then you pull up a little bit and just kind of allow your mind, body, spirit, everything to recover and recharge. I think that's a very natural cycle of life to have. I mean, even leaves fall off trees. We have different seasons in nature. We definitely have different seasons as far as our motivation and our mind and our spirit. So go with the flow. Don't try and control things all the time. Don't try and always have a really hard program. I think that can contribute to anxiety, depression, and not enjoying the lifestyle. And so have two different programs, a hard program and then maybe a scaled back program that if you're feeling like you've just been unmotivated for several weeks, and you can kind of switch into that, give yourself a little latitude, a little bit of grace, and just prepare for those cycles of change after you've hit your goal, because what happens after you hit your goal is you have to start looking at, how am I going to maintain this for the rest of my life? And the way that you do that is a little bit of flexibility. You can't always be so type A after you hit your goal. It's certainly okay. That's going to be needed to hit your goal, depending on what it is. A lot of times it's helpful, but it's just not sustainable long-term most of the time. And that was the first question that we asked today, right? Is it sustainable, this program that I'm doing? So the last thing here is try new things. So we kind of went over that a little bit with little goals, but trying new things is it can be big. So like you get to your goal, you've lost the weight you want, or you've gained the muscle, or you have the energy that you want, you have the life you want, you feel energized, you're going for regular walks with your family, maybe your injuries have dissipated, you don't have pain anymore. Then try new things. Try maybe a new way of eating, maybe some, like I was saying, new vegetables. Maybe you have a goal of you're going to try one new food group every week. You're going to try and try new workouts, try new exercises, get involved in maybe new activities that are orthopedically friendly, hopefully, and are going to, take care of your body. But, maybe it's, instead of, going for a walk every day, maybe you just take a basketball and you go shoot hoops for a little bit. I'm not saying you have to go play competitive basketball and roll your ankle and all that jazz, but, just something where you keep it fun. I know my cardio has been, on the bicycle. I've there's a lot of loops here in the Pacific Northwest. I've rode my bike a lot for cardiovascular activity. I've walked a lot. I've ran. I've done jujitsu. I've hit heavy bag. I've shadow boxed. I've done battle ropes even. I've done burpees. But there's so much stuff, and you can move through these different cycles, and it keeps this thing fresh and fun. And so you want to look at principles long term, because when I first got into lifting, I was very into bodybuilding style lifting, which is great. But the reality for me is that my goal was to be more of a pillar of health, and to be kind of an icon of health and fitness in my own mind. So, if I was going to be hiring a trainer, how would that trainer be? And that's kind of how I've always tried to operate. So I operate based off principles. Maybe it's cardiovascular heavy for a while, and then maybe it's lifting heavy. Maybe I'm doing a bodybuilding looking split for a while, but then maybe I'm doing some kettlebell stuff. Maybe I'm doing a lot of martial arts for a little bit, or maybe I'm, it's just always switching it up, and having a well-rounded program that can help keep things fresh after you've hit your goal. Okay. And it helps keep you on point. So the 4 tips that I've just gave, number 1 was explore other areas of health after you hit your goal. Okay. After you hit your goal, you can improve little things. So just look at little goals, little targets, all right, to keep things fresh. Number 3 was prepare for cycles of change, because after you hit your goal, in order to sustain and live that healthy lifestyle, you're going to need to prepare for times where you're not motivated. Okay. And if you want to keep the results for a lifetime, you got to prepare for that, because the minute that you're not motivated, if you just completely fall off the wagon and you go back to old habits, you will lose the result. And you don't want that. And number 4 is try new things, try new workouts, try new ways of eating, new foods, all of that. So, sometimes hitting a goal can be a trap. Okay, so we have to acknowledge this, that when we hit a goal, if we don't have a vision for after that goal, whatever it is for you, whether that's to gain muscle or to lose fat, whatever it is, energy, there's literally hundreds of goals. I just use the most common ones when I say lose fat, gain muscle. Those by any means. Like I said, some people just want to get out of pain because they got orthopedic pain. But sometimes getting to that goal sets us up for failure. It's a trap. Because when we hit that, we then don't know where to go from there. And it's like touch and go. We touch the goal and then we slide back into old habits. And so I've definitely had that happen. The first time I ever hit the goal that I had for myself, I didn't know where to go with it. And I basically ate my way away from the goal. And then I had to figure out how to get back. And, you know, the first time I ever hit my goal, it was not sustainable. So I was working out 10 to 14 times a week. I was doing 2-a-days, and my body was shot. And that can work for short cycles, but it did not work long term. So overall, getting to your goal is an exploration process. You have to figure out, you know, how you're going to do that for you, you know, because everybody recovers at different rates. They respond differently to different food groups. They respond differently to exercise. So it's just a big exploration. But when you hit your goal, you can keep it. Just have a vision for what you're going to do when you get there. So that's episode 129. You hit your goal. What now? So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until next time, stay strong and healthy in body. Stay relentless and energized in spirit. And stay determined in your pursuits today. That spells shred. Now go shred the day. Get better in every way. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Class is dismissed.